If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Okay, Lil Baby and Lil Durk just wrapped up their tour, the Back Outside tour, which they were, doing for the past, month, I think now it was. It was a 23-city tour, and they just, did their last show. This tour was to promote their collaborative mixtape or their collaborative album, The Voice of the Heroes, which I dropped many, videos leading up to back when it dropped in May or June. I think it was May, like late May, because this collaboration was really something that I was hella excited for. Lil Baby, one of my, favorite artists over the past 2 to 3 years, someone who's just been, getting his way up there, working his way up the ladder of respect in hip-hop. A lot of people, 2 years ago still kind of wrote him off as just another mumble rapper out of Atlanta, but then, he's really going up there. He dropped a bigger picture, then that, gave him so much respect in the rap game back in 2020, and then also just him collaborating with so many talented artists. I mean, he has 3 songs with Drake. He's been checking off his bucket list with features for the likes of Joyner Lucas, Kanye, J. Cole. So, this man has been going really hard for the past 2 to 3 years, and all the success he's been getting is well deserved. Durkio goes, same goes for him. Durkio is a really great example of someone who revived his career and now is popping again, so I respect this man a lot. And those 2 artists I always found would be perfect to collab, and now they did a whole album together. We had songs before like Finesse Out the Gangway or How You Know and stuff like that, and after those songs I was like, yo, those 2 are a crazy combo, and then they dropped that album, and I was positively surprised. I still listen to that thing daily because it's a perfect, it's like a workout album. You can listen to it. It perfectly supports like a hustle mindset because they both really display that energy of just grinding on that record. So I love that record still to this day. And now that they wrapped up their tour, this tour was, pretty big. They had Coyle Ray as a opening artist on there. We also had 4PF, so Lil Baby's signed artist Rilo Rodriguez on here, and then also Atlanta's Bankroll Freddy. So this thing was pretty, pretty big, and we just got some numbers because the 2 of them posted, kind of the last show and how many tickets they sold and what they made, and it's looking pretty impressive. Now, I'm not, that familiar with a lot of like tour stats and stuff like that, but they posted that they sold 250,000 tickets, and I think this means that they sold out the tour, which before, that many people doubted that they would be able to sell out the tour because, of course, they did like their little tours, like Lil Baby did shows here and there, but this was like a big tour with like opening acts and stuff like that. It's not just, some random show or a random festival that they performed at. This was a serious thing, and they had to, go hard every day because they did shows most of the days of this period that did their show over, and apparently it really paid off because they also posted, added on to those 250,000 tickets that they sold, they made a net profit of $15 million on this tour together. Now, a profit is of course just the money that you still have at the end. It's not the revenue, because that would be a whole lot more, because you got to think about, all the different locations they got to book, the different artists that they got to pay and stuff like that, the light shows and all that. So it probably made a ton of money, and they got 15 million out of it in profit. So those 2 are making hella bank with this tour. It's of course known that artists make the most money with ticket sales, but for someone like Lil Baby and Lil Durk to sell out this tour, that is a big step, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about that, because those 2 are like really at like some high established level artists up there, at the likes of like a Drake selling out a tour back in 2011 and stuff like that, when those people were coming up and really doing these big moves in their business. That is Lil Baby and Lil Durk right now, and that only proves to me that they still have a long leg in hip-hop and some longevity in their career still to go, because if they can sell out 250,000 tickets, over the country within the span of a month. This is, this means that they have, so many people supporting them that are willing to get a ticket to go to their show, and they're not just like an internet phenomenon. Lil Baby is not this artist anymore that blew up off of a, world star hip hop video for freestyle or whatever. This is actually a guy now who's built a solid fan base over the past 3 years that it has now allowed him to sell out these big stage moves, these big stage tour dates now. And that to me just proves that, it's not always, when you talk about these new rappers coming up, it's not always like, that's cool. They make, their money off of their SoundCloud plays and stuff like that, but then they can't translate it into actual, fans and actual profit. Lil Baby and Lil Durk as well, but Lil Durk has been in the game for a longer time. That's a different case, but he proves them wrong. Of course, Lil Baby is a special case because, as I said, he's really at the forefront of this generation, just grinding hard, putting out hit song after hit song consistently. He's really one of the most consistent rappers in the game. Y'all know that I'm a Lil Baby stan. I expressed that quite a few times in the past, but this really made me happy when I saw this. We got these couple of videos of this dude that nobody really knows who he is, but he presented like this plaque to Lil Baby and Lil Durk, both independently, so we know that it's actually real and not like a little gimmick that they did, where he told them that they net profited $15 million, and you can see both of their reactions, which is really cool. We also saw Lil Baby then post on Instagram a picture of him on a private jet, probably going somewhere, saying, "Back Outside tour was a success. Now I'm off to get some rest. When I come back, I'm stepping on man's necks." So he's off to get some well-deserved rest, and when he comes back, maybe he's dropping Lamborghini Boys. That's something we've been waiting for forever. He also said his next album is going to be all written by himself, so no more, freestyling in the booth, trying to come up with different bars as you go along. He said his next album is actually going to be written out in lyrics and verses. So let's give him some rest for 2 to 3 weeks or however long he wants to, vacation, and then when he comes back, y'all know that it's game time when Lil Baby comes back and drops a solo album again after 2020's My Turn, which was a really big album and a really big move for him that really elevated him to like yet another stage in his career. So I'm excited for what Lil Baby and Lil Durk got coming up in the future, especially Lil Baby. It's crazy watching this man's career. I remember listening to some unreleased tracks back in like 2018 when this dude was like just coming out, when he was just starting to pop with freestyle and stuff like that, to now him being one of the most, one of the biggest artists in the game in the world right now. Crazy to see that evolution. But yeah, that's my opinion on this. Now I want to know what you think about this. You excited for anything Lil Baby got coming up in the future? Do you think his next album will be Lamborghini Boys? Were you at one of the shows, at the Back Outside tour? How did you like it? What do you think of the Voice of the Heroes? All of that, let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.